Bartholomew, did you know that in addition to translating Beowulf, Tolkien also wrote a short fairy tale version of the story? And it just so happens to be right here in this book. I'm going to read you the first page of it. Be a nice little bedtime story for you. SELLIC Spell by J.R.R. Tolkien. Once upon a time, there was a king in the north of the world who had an only daughter, and in his house there was a young lad who was not like the others. One day some huntsmen had come upon a great bear in the mountains. They tracked him to his lair and killed him, and in his den they found a man-child. They marveled much, for it was a fine child, about 3 years old and in good health, but it could speak no words. It seemed to the huntsmen that it must have been fostered by the bears, for it growled like a cub. They took the child, and as they could not discover whence he came or to whom he belonged, they brought him to the king. The king ordered him to be taken into his house and reared and taught the ways of men. He got little good of the foundling, for the child grew to a surly, lumpish boy, and was slow to learn the speech of the land. He would not work, nor learn the use of tools or weapons. He had great liking for honey, and often sought for it in the woods, or plundered the hives of the farmers. And as he had no name of his own, people called him Beowulf, and that was his name ever after. He was held in small account, and in the hall he was left in a corner and had no place upon the benches. He sat often on the floor, and said little to any man. But month by month, and year by year, Beowulf grew, and as he grew he became stronger, until first the boys and lads, and at length even the men, began to fear him. After 7 years he had the strength of 7 men in his hands. Still he grew, until his beard began to show, and then the grip of his arms was like the hug of a bear. He used no tool or weapon, for blades snapped in his hands, and he would bend any bow till it broke. But if he was angered, he would crush a man in his embrace. Happily he was sluggish in mood and slow to wrath, but folk left him alone.